Hello, my ES students. In this video, we will be explaining the applications of monoclonal antibodies in the medical field. In the previous videos, we have seen the experimentally production of monoclonal antibodies after immunization of a mouse with an antigen and the obtention of hybridomas producing antibodies, and after the cloning of hybridomas in order to uh, obtain a large amount or quantities of the desired monoclonal antibodies. Now we will see when these monoclonal antibodies are used. Before seeing the applications, what is an antigen? You have to memorize this information. An antigen is a substance that is recognized by the antibody as a foreign molecule, and its presence in the body induces an immune response. Now, why are the B lymphocytes fused with immortalized myeloma cells, as you have seen in the previous video? B lymphocytes have a short lifespan and cannot be used commercially. When they are fused with myeloma cells, they become immortalized and can produce antibodies in continuous manner. Now, what are the advantages of monoclonal antibodies? They are produced by one clone of B cells, thus they are pure and specific. We will use the characteristics of monoclonal antibodies in several medical applications. The first application is the pregnancy test. In this test, monoclonal antibodies are specific for a hormone that is secreted by the embryo soon after the occurrence of pregnancy. This hormone is called HCG. For that, a urine sample from a woman is incubated with HCG specific monoclonal antibodies. So here we have the pregnancy test strip. We deposit a urine sample to the bottom of the stick. So if the urine sample contains HCG, the HCG present in the urine binds to antibodies, monoclonal antibodies called anti-HCG found in this test strip. And after binding of HCG to the anti-HCG, we have appearance of a color or a signal indicating a positive test, thus the woman is pregnant. So here we have a change in the color indicating a positive test for pregnancy, while no color change indicates a negative test. So the pregnancy test strip is made up of monoclonal antibodies produced experimentally in the previous technique discussed in the previous video. And now, if the woman is pregnant, her urine contains a hormone produced by the embryo called HCG. HCG makes a chemical reaction with anti-HCG antibodies found in the test strip, and a color change appears indicating a positive test. Note that you don't have to memorize the steps of this technique. You should only name one application of monoclonal antibodies. So only study the name of the application, which is pregnancy test. Now, the second application that uses the monoclonal antibodies is the detection of tumor or cancer cells in tissues. Tumor cells secrete specific antigens in the blood. We can add for a tumor sample labeled monoclonal antibodies produced in the lab and specific for cancer antigens. and the chemical reaction between the monoclonal antibodies added to the tissues makes a fluorescence, and the obtention or the emission of fluorescence indicates a positive test and indicates that the tested sample is a tumor, and the individual has a certain type of cancer. So the first application of monoclonal antibodies was they're used for a pregnancy test. The second application, we use monoclonal antibodies ready-made in the lab, specific for a certain type of cancer antigens. If the sample contains antigens for cancer, the antibodies will bind to these antigens and will emit a fluorescence, a color indicating a positive test. Only you have to study the name of this technique. So we can ask, name two applications of monoclonal antibodies. The answer will be pregnancy test and detection of tumor cells. So these were the applications of monoclonal antibodies in the medical field. Thanks for listening.